All right. So since we're recording, is that one of your shirts? One of your?
This one's not one of mine because I wore all of mine, so they're in the wash now. But it is a.
You'd be trying to push your merch everywhere.
I know, right? I mean, of all the places, I should be pushing it here since it does have my widest audience.
And now you're 100,000. You should be.
Yeah.
Fast.
I have to be a corporate sellout now. That's how it goes. Yeah.
And I'm a 400er now, so there you go.
That's big.
It's I've got I think 405 or something.
You know that when you hit 500, you have to do a celebratory dance video, right?
No.
Yep, that's the rules. It's the rules. You got to celebrate.
Yeah, but I've always been a rule breaker.
What a rebel.
I know. Now I got about 404 more than I thought I would. I thought Dad had subscribed because I was fixing the Buick, and that was about it. Anyway, we had a. You can bring us up to date.
Yes. Okay. So, yes. So, people who have been following the series will probably remember that where we left off, we'd been actually cutting a little bit of code, sort of getting a grasp on things. But Uncle Graham was doing the tippity typing, and the plan was next video, I'll have downloaded the stuff and I would be tippity typing on my end. And so, he sent me an email with all the things that I would need to get. So create a GitHub account, all those sorts of things, install Python. And I was like, great, I will do the thing. And I went into the email and I opened the first link and I had no idea what I was looking at. I suspect it's because I'm so used to like installation wizards, right? I didn't realize how good installation wizards were doing all of the work for you, because I think the very first hurdle was like download the appropriate or install the appropriate version of Python for your software, your computer that you're using. And I didn't know how to figure that out and I couldn't do it. I was afraid. And so I just did nothing for several weeks.
It went dark.
Yeah, I went dark. No response, because I was like, how do I say that I can't even install the thing that lets you start coding? And then eventually I did come clean.
Yeah, I walked over to and you walked out looking very sheepish as we were gathering out in the front yard because we weren't allowed to go into the house.
And you were like, have you installed the things? And I was like, look. But then Uncle Graham made a very good point, which is that if this is the kind of thing that a total newbie has trouble with, then this is something that we should be covering in the videos, which is just true. That's just a true statement. Because I mean, if I'm very confused by it, I suspect there are probably other people who are also very confused by it. I mean, it's those things that you can't see when
you're a large number of people in that you're very familiar with using computers, and you're a digital native, as they say. Post 95, I think the digital native is supposed to be. And,
well, then I'm not a digital native. I'm too old.
Oh, are you?
I'm 93.
Oh, well.
I suppose that's true. I remember a time, sort of pre-household computers. Barely, but I remember it.
Yeah. So anyway,
or I'm sure that they existed, but we didn't have one.
Yeah, well, yeah. But you're someone that's been working with computers from a very
certainly using computers was part of like my primary school curriculum,
Yeah. Whereas in high school, our school had a computer and had to be in the computer club to get near it.
Ooh, exclusivity. Were you part of the computer club?
No. I was very anti-school at that stage.
Yeah, I could imagine. You should stunt on those nerds.
I was busy being anything but involved with anything at school.
Yes.
Although I did.
Do I want to do more school? Maybe not.
Well, I bought
extracurricular
a Casio FX29 because I just could not wait to get a calculator, because this is an amazing machine. I was in year 7 and I didn't have to get it to year 8, but I couldn't wait.
Wait, what did people use?
Abacus. Counted stones.
That's a joke, right?
Well, slide rules were all the go before that. I never used it.
Because you know what I have in my head is those chunky calculators that you go boop boop boop, and it's like, you know, I don't know, it's like the pre-Game Boy version of a screen, right? Like it displays the thing, and you've also got the shadow of whatever it displays. You know those screens?
No, well, hang on. I can.
I'm just struggling to think of a like one step before that. You know what I mean?
Well,
but that was slide rules.
I got a FX29, and I was annoyed that I actually did it. Here we go. So if I share my screen, this jobby.
Oh la la, that's very fancy. Look, it's got green numbers on the screen.
Yeah, I got that. I still have it. It's got a lot of tape around the edges.
Does it work?
Yeah. But I was a bit annoyed with myself because there you go. That's what I was listening to while I was waiting.
Game Boys.
Yeah, this guy, look mum, no computers. He's made this synthesizer using I don't know how many. He's got another one where he made this whole thing. There's a Furby machine, and he rewires games like old toys and things, and turns them. He builds all these. He built all that panel himself.
Wow.
Yeah.
My Game Boy was like these. See how these are slightly sort of translucent, the casings on the Game Boys? Mine was that, but purple.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Anyway, I didn't mean to close that, because the people that couldn't be bothered got the FX39, and I had already jumped in by this stage. Images. And the FX39 came with some parentheses, and it had an additional, it had a couple of functions that mine didn't.
Oh no.
And I was sad.
Could you achieve similar things with the other one?
Everything I really needed to, but there was a few things. The difference between FX29 and 39. I think this one, mine did fractions. I did degrees, minutes, and seconds, I think, and a couple of things.
Oh, okay. I think it's interesting that it displays for so that you can see the examples 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but it does not display 9 or 0.
That's because that was the length. That was the size of the display.
That's the maximum size of the.
I think so.
So what happens if the number is bigger than that?
Uses exponentials.
Okay, well, that sounds like it will make my brain explode. So let's not get into that.
Notation. E to the minus, So, but that was like I said, I still have it, and it still works. I was using it, during my apprenticeship and right through my trade. I've got an FX1, something or another. I can't remember what it is now, but it didn't have, it didn't have auto power off mine, and if you left the batteries on, it'd flatten them. And there's a case you slip it in this, and this switch was quite prominent. And if you weren't careful and you put it in the wrong way, it'd switch it on as you put it in the case, and you pull it out, and it was flat. So that.
So anyway, the point is that I'm similar, at least, if not actually, a digital native. But I still find this confusing.
Oh yeah, and so the thing is that well, the thing is, what I've heard is that digital natives, I will hand my phone over to Melissa, my daughter, and who you know, and most people don't.
Quite well.
If I want the theme changed or I'm annoyed by a setting or something, I'll go, oh, Melissa, can you fix this? And she's all over that interaction, but the understanding of what's happening underneath is low, but the ability to manipulate and work with the data is very high. And so I'm the opposite. People are boomers. I'm at the end of boomers who get into computers because they've not come at it from, like, I was 33 when I got my first computer. If you want to make them do things, you have to work it out. You don't intuit it. And so the boomer type tend to have a deeper understanding. But that's, I mean, all these things are generalities and whatever. But anyway, so you're probably typical of a lot of people, very computer savvy, very capable with computers, using them all the time. But if you dig underneath the surface, it becomes a bit mysterious.
Yeah.
So after that deviation, but then our videos tend to be deviations after deviation. So, and yet
how it goes.
Continue to watch them. So, so I thought that the best thing to do was if you shared your screen and just endeavored to follow the instructions, and then we'll see if I can unblock the block points.
Okay.
I would much rather do that than walk you through it. I'd rather you try to do it and see how far you can get with me offering nothing.
I don't think it's going to be very far, but we'll see how. I mean, I think once we get through, I think the first bit, the install Python, is going to be the hardest bit. I suspect that some of the other things will be a little bit easier. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I also have a feeling that you were just intimidated by it.
Yes, absolutely that. Okay. All right. So here we go. Install Python 3.7 into a folder called C:\Python 37. Okay. Here we go. Python 3.7.0. Okay. Now I'm already confused because my instinct, right, is not to read every single sentence on a page. My typical thing would be like, open the page, scroll down to the relevant links, which seem to be here.
That's correct.
But then it all says Windows times 8664, which I imagine is bits.
x86.
x86. Okay. Because I mean,
there was 286, 386, 486, you know, so that's going back to the architecture.
Okay. Is that like Windows 10?
No. Well, it's referring to the architecture that you're. I'm going to assume you've got 64-bit architecture. I can see you need a restart, but anyway.
Okay. How do you see I need a restart?
Down at the bottom, you've got that little down onto the taskbar. On the bottom, and and keep going, and then there.
Does that say Windows 11?
Yeah,
I can't deal with this right now.
You don't need to.
Come on.
From the reviews I'm hearing of 11, I wouldn't jump quite yet either.
Okay. Should I do something to stop it from automatically updating next time I shut down?
I don't think it'll automatically update, but maybe it will. Yeah, tell it to shut up. But anyway, I every time I go onto computers for work, that one of the first things I do is note whether it needs an Windows updates. And so I noticed these.
Good to know. So what makes you think that my computer would have 64-bit architecture? Because this is something that I have seen in other places where it's like, oh, you need to know whether your computer is 64 or I don't know, 32 or whatever.
No, just open up your folder files here and go to C drive. This PC and C drive. Now, you see how you've got program files and you've got program files x86?
Oh, x86. Okay.
That is the 32-bit stuff.
Right.
And program files is the 64-bit stuff.
Okay.
So if
All
you're
right.
running Windows 32-bit, then you'd only have program files.
Okay.
But also you can go in and you can look up, from the start menu, you can go in and look at system information.
Where is that?
So you want to go to,
Because this seems like something that might be useful in the future.
Microsoft. Well, you want. I think it's. I always just start typing things.
Yeah.
If you type in system, there it is.
Hey, thank goodness for search bars.
And you can see you're running the i7 core, and you've got Microsoft 10 Pro. There you go. And it should, where does it say? It should say 64-bit, but anyway. X64.
Oh, x64 based PC.
Correct.
Hey, there you go. Okay. Neat.
So we can say, based on Windows directory, C Windows, system directory, Windows System 32. It's a legacy thing. But anyway, we can see there that you're definitely running the 64-bit.
Okay.
And I would have been very surprised
if I wasn't.
If you're on 32.
Okay. So it doesn't get bigger than 64.
Not at the moment, no.
That's very interesting because like we did all that conversation in the early episodes about bit sizes and stuff. I just would have expected, because other things have gotten bigger than 64-bit.
You to get up to 128-bit, which would be the next logical step, would be a pretty major thing. What they're doing is, rather than there's problems with physical problems. I mean, I'm not an expert on this, but my reflections on why it is like it is. If you start clocking faster or going for bigger, you start running into, if you went to 128-bit, I mean, the increase would be huge and unnecessary, I think, and probably expensive. But if you start clocking fast and all the rest of it, you have trouble with heat and heat dissipation.
Right.
And people want small devices that are thin, and they don't want to be running water cooling on them. And you look at the overclocked gaming computers, they got water cooling.
I want a gaming computer with a water cooling system. I honestly think I need one, because every tower computer that I've used, the fan, I don't know what it is about my bedroom. Yeah. They're noisy, but also my fans, I don't know, they get clogged up with dust so fast. My room must be a sinkhole for dust or something, and so my computers have always tended to run hot and sort of die faster, and not coped with running sort of really.
I ran a water cooling setup on my camera for my astro photos.
Ooh.
I retrofitted a computer. I retrofitted a computer cooler to a Peltier and made up a mount to put on the back of my digital SLR.
Ooh, did it work?
Yeah, I was getting the camera down close to zero.
Heck yeah.
And it made huge difference to photos. Massive.
Heck yeah. Because I just, anyway, I worry when things get hot. Basically, the moral of the story is I want liquid cooling when I buy an expensive computer. So we know that
the thing is that what they've done is, rather than going faster and much bigger, they've gone for more CPUs. So you get 16 cores. CPUs.
Oh, CPUs.
You get more cores.
Right. Okay.
8 cores or 16 cores, or and then individual processors on normal computing. I work on supercomputers, and they've got pretty full on CPUs. But normally that's not the problem. It's just you want to run more and more things. So if you just have more and more CPUs, you can do it, and you don't have the same problem with the clocking and the heat.
Right. Okay.
All right. So we can safely say from this, what would you think you would do?
That I'm probably one of the Windows x86 64 things.
Yep.
But I noticed that there are 3 of those. Okay. So
which one would you think?
Embeddable zip file, executable installer, or web-based installer? I would one of these 2 would be my guess.
Yep. And which one would you err to?
I mean, originally I was going to say executable installer because that sounds like that's a thing. But then I remembered that like executables were a thing in the code. So maybe that would require me to know more about it. So maybe I would go the web-based installer.
I have never used the web-based installer. It might be fine.
But we should go the executable?
But I've used the executable.
Okay. Can I ask, what is the difference between the x86 64 executable installer versus just the x86 executable installer?
That'll be the 32-bit, I think. That'll be the x86 32-bit.
Right. That okay, cool. So do I click on it?
Yep.
Okay, it's downloading. Yay.
And look, it's got what on the extension?
.exe. Oh, I've seen that on installers in the past.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna open this. Yeah. This is okay. Oh, this looks like a wizard.
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
So you're not going to choose the install now because
that'll save it to not the place that I want it to.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Custom installation.
Yeah.
Do I want all of these?
Yep.
Okay. Next. Install for all users. Well, that's me, but yes. Associate files with Python.
Yeah, I'd do that.
Okay. But, I don't know what it means, but I believe you.
Now, I don't know whether I install because I want you to put it in C. It's put it in C program files, Python 37.
And we want to just Python, didn't we?
Yeah.
Cool.
And I'd probably uncheck all users.
Okay.
I mean, that's really irrelevant, but
you will require write permissions for the selected location.
You're the administrator of this computer, aren't you?
I mean, I assume so. How do I?
Well, try and it'll tell you, but you'll be admin. If this is the only account, you'll be admin. You might.
I am the only account. You know how sometimes you're the only account on a computer, and it's like you need permission to do that. Do you want to give permission to yourself? And you say yes. But
that seems ridiculous, but it's not.
Isn't it?
No, because if someone's hacking your computer, or if they're trying to remotely run something, and they've got something through in a packet on the back end of something, and then it goes to run, and then they have to interact with that prompt.
Oh, so it's that adding that human element.
It can.
So the program can't interact with that.
Yeah. Well, people.
Or unless it's designed to.
But it makes it more. It makes it. It's just another. It is a level of protection where you have to say, yeah, it's me, and I'm doing this.
Right. Okay. All right. I like that.
Not as crazy as it seems.
Okay. Create shortcuts for installed applications.
Add Python to environment variables. Yes.
Click yes. Okay. What are environment variables?
Okay. So, there's path, and if you put something on the computer and it's not in the path, if you type down in search, It is. Oh, I know how to type these things. If you go environment variables, edit the environment variables control panel. There you go. Click on it. So the top ones are for you, and the bottom ones are system-wide. And so you see there's path in the top one. That one is saying that Windows apps is in the path. But if you look down and scroll down in the system variables here, and you find path. Path. Right. There's all of these.
Oh.
There's lots of, you'd have to do it as admin to look, but there's lots of folders in the path. And unless it's in there, if you type a command or you try to launch something and it's not in that path, the file isn't, it won't find it.
Okay. Gotcha.
So if we do this and we don't include it in the environment variables, then you try to launch it from somewhere other than in that folder, because dot is in the path. So dot is in the directory you're in. Dot is the one before that. Dot isn't the one before that. But you can go dot, or you can go dot is referring to the one behind.
Right. Okay.
So dot is by default in the path. So if you're in the directory that the program's in, it'll find it. But if it's not if the folder is not in the path and you type it and you're not in the path, it won't find it.
Okay.
So you can cancel out of that.
Boop, boop. All right. Precompile standard library.
Yeah, let's leave those ones as they are. Don't worry about downloading, debugging.
Okay, cool. So we've got the right place. Yep. All right, and then just click install.
Yep.
Okay, yes. It's initializing.
Yes, it is. It's having a think.
It's just contemplating. It's contemplating. Did you know that I applied our early conversations about, when I was making my pseudocode board game of the thing, that conversation about every point where you have to like think something or intuit something, you have to tell the computer what to do. I applied that to a very important discussion of the 1995 children's hit film Jumanji. And I think that I had a very good point. I think that board game isn't so much sentient as it is a computer. I think it is so concerned with the exact rules of the board game that it like does them exactly.
Well, I would agree that sentience would be able to cope with deviations and divergences.
Yeah. And I just don't believe, Omar disagreed. He thought that it was sentient, but I don't think it was. I don't think there was any evidence that it was. And I'm sure that you'll agree with me as a very big fan of the 1995 hit children's film Jumanji. I know you are.
Having spent enough time to know that it exists as a thing.
Yep.
And living in the house that I have, having walked in on seeing that it was on and going, and walking back out again, I have strong opinions on this.
You do, and they agree with all of mine.
Oh, absolutely. I completely endorse your position.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, good. I thought you might. Is this okay? How big are these files likely to be?
Oh no, it's not going to be huge.
Because that's been a confusing thing for me previously. Is like, it seems like it should be big because it's code that seems big. It's like you're downloading the Matrix onto your computer.
Yeah. So but it's just not saying pre-compiling standard library, and it was compiling. Remember I talked about compiled and interpreted languages?
Yes, I do. And now I will try to remember what you said about them. I remember an acronym, or that there was an acronym more accurately. I don't remember what you said about them.
So there's binary files that are, that are executables.
Uh-huh.
And there are languages that do that.
Uh-huh.
And then there are changing machine configuration, including Python, bypass statistics carry. Yeah, I do that. Disable path limit.
Disable it.
Yeah.
Boop.
I've not seen that one before, but anyway.
We're done.
Yep.
Hey, step one. Sorry, what were you saying about compilable and
So and when you write that, you write the source code and then you run it through a compiler and it turns it into an executable binary that you can distribute. If you're running interpreter, which Python does, although I've got this program, it still runs interpreter. I've got another thing that lets me run on Windows without installing Python. PyInstaller, funnily enough. No, Py2Xe. I can't remember which one it was. It's one of those. But that when it's saying compiling, what's happened is it's downloaded source code on your computer, and then it's run a compiler and built it on your computer. And that'll be most likely because every computer will have some different names and variables and things that have to be fed to it. And
I just remembered what the acronym was. It was yet another compiler. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. That's right. Yak.
Yeah.
And compiler. Yeah. So where was I? Yes. So rather than making a million distributions and trying to get it so it works on your computer, I believe what's happened is they go onto your computer and they find the variable names that are correct with your computer, and then they build the executables on your computer.
Oh.
So then you end up with an executable file. So it takes a while because it's gathering all the information, it's doing all the pre-compiling and then the compiling and so forth. But it doesn't mean that it turns into much in terms of size. It just means it's got to do a bit of computer work.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha.
I believe we should have Python installed. Now, if you go down to the bottom and type CMD.
Oh.
That's it, command prompt.
This is scary. Okay.
Now type CD.
Right here?
Yep.
Capitals, lowercase?
No, lowercase.
CD.
Space. C. Colon.
Nope, that's a semicolon.
Yep, backslash.
Uh-huh.
Python.
Uh-huh.
So,
37.
Enter. And now you're in that directory. So you know how you went quite happily with your file browser.
Yeah.
And you click.
Yeah.
You just did exactly the same thing, but you did it.
Okay, gotcha.
Instead of clicky, you just typey. That's all. It's exactly the same thing.
Okay.
Now, if you type dir
directory,
yep, enter. That's the list of the files in that directory, and you can see python.exe is there.
Where is it? Oh, there it is. Oh, at 5:01 a.m. 2018.
So now, if you just type Python, enter, that you're running Python now.
Oh, okay. Type help, copyright, credits, or license.
So type help.
Help.
I've never used it through the. I use that's just where basically you can write code here. But we don't need to.
Okay.
Just type print. So type print. Open bracket. And now open quote
Uh-huh.
and hi there.
Double or single quote?
Doesn't matter. It'll use either.
Okay. And what's next?
Hello world.
Oh, okay. Right. Gotcha.
Close quotes.
Close
Close bracket. Enter.
Hello world.
So you remember we did that?
We did.
But we wrote it. This is the interactive interpreter. Now,
Okay.
if you imported NumPy, for example, that imports a massive mathematics library, and you could actually write mathematics and use it as a calculator, but you can do very complex maths directly on the command line. You can work with large data sets and so forth on the command line, but we're not going to do that. So now type exit and then open close brackets. Enter. And now you're out.
Hey.
So we can
What
see
would happen if I didn't? What if I didn't exit and just like turned it off? Would that be bad?
Turned off what?
The window.
No, that'd be fine.
Okay.
It'd just exit anyway. It'd get a termination signal from the operating system and it'd shut it down. So we can now safely say we have Python and it's installed where we want it.
Okay, great. All right, and I can turn this off?
Yep.
All right. So that's step one, done. And I didn't even have to read any of this.
Nope.
Excellent. Okay. Install Git. Okay. Yep. Okay, this one seems much more like what I'm familiar with. I will click on the Windows. Oh, it's doing it.
If you go back, see the big screen next to you, download for Windows?
Oh. Should I have clicked that instead?
Try that. I think it might just automatically do the, oh no, same page. Oh,
same
no,
thing. Okay.
It's downloading. Oh, it's
yeah.
So we can just get rid of that. It's
get out of here. Get out of here. Okay. So this one.
Open.
Yes.
And if you're going to choose and do it manually, you would have chosen the 64-bit.
Right. Okay. Okay. All right. It's the public license. I'm gonna. Oh, I am reading it.
Yeah. That'll do.
That's fine. So we don't want it to be okay.
No,
cool.
that'll do.
All right. Okay. Okay. Additional icons on the desktop. What? What?
Do you want a desktop icon? I don't think so.
No. Okay.
Just put a launch on there. I use Git. I use at the command line. So.
Okay. But wait. But if I don't know what I'm doing, but it's in the program files, so I do know where to find it anyway.
Yeah, it'll so this is fine. We do want to, I use Git bash here all the time. Windows Explorer integration, that's good. And associate the .gits and .sh files. That's all good. So I'd go next.
Okay, cool.
So program shortcut following start menu item. So it's just putting in the start menu.
Yeah, cool. Yep. So cool. This is fine as is?
Yep.
Cool. Next, use Vim. Does that say Vim?
Yeah, it does. Click down. What are they going to offer? I'd probably go Notepad++, and we'll download that. Or you can use Notepad, but Notepad++ is better.
Okay.
All right, so click on Notepad++. It's offering.
Oh, it wants me to install it first.
Yep. So
download.
Yep.
Oh.
Just get the latest one.
Okay. All right, 32-bit, but we're looking for the 64-bit. I know that now.
Yep.
But that says x64. Is that the same as? So I need.
Yeah.
Wait.
Go up. It's all telling you about bug fixes and things.
Okay.
So you just want to download the installer.
Okay, but before we were doing x86-64. So why does this one say x64-64?
I don't know.
But that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, installer. There it is. There it is. This is now we're doing installation inception. Yep.
That's a really Notepad Plus is a very good tool, and it's used pretty broadly. It's got syntax highlighting built in and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, just do next.
Uh,
I would create a shortcut.
All right. All right. Install. Wow, that's fast. Okay. Okay. Wow. Sorry, I forgot I was running through Zoom and it won't let me close the tab. Yeah.
So you've got the installer still up.
Where's it at? There it is. Okay. Will it let me do it now? Let's just do. No, it won't let me do it.
I don't know. Oh, just go back to Vim. If it's going to let you go through, we're not going to use that particularly anyway.
So wait, what am I going to? Vim?
Yep.
Okay.
We just wanted to go next.
Okay.
Let Git decide.
Use Git from Git Bash only?
No, we want the one that's defaulted to.
Okay. See, this is great because you are just telling me what to click on, because I definitely wouldn't know what to click on for a lot of these.
Yeah, use a bundled AdminSSH. Yeah, AdminSSL Live. Just use the defaults.
Okay.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one's all right. Git pull. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, let's just keep going next.
New.
Yep. No, let's keep going.
None of those. Install.
We
made it. We made it.
For the hottest of hot water you've ever
Can
seen.
you, okay, but can you imagine me on my own trying to make my way through that?
It probably would have been interesting. I
Would have
guess
been
it just shows what you
panic.
don't know, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. It shows what you don't know that you know.
You know, I can understand that could be fairly threatening for someone that had no idea what's going on. And a lot of the time, like some of the things that you come, they go, "Oh, yeah, that'll be right." and if I need to find out what's going on, the worst case scenario is you uninstall and reinstall. So I have had it where you go through and then you go, no, we don't need to view those, and we don't need to launch Git.
Okay, so that one's done. All right.
Now, just out of interest, or just from curious, minimize that window. And now
there's my OBS.
Right click and go Git bash here.
What is this?
That is the Linux style command line, which we'll be interacting with. And
what?
So with that one, instead of, for example, dir, you use ls. So if you just type ls space -l.
Minus L.
Enter.
What's minus L?
It's telling it to list. So there's the
it's got Fantasy Grounds, it's got DaVinci Resolve. There you go.
And so just type ls. Enter. And you see it doesn't give the details.
Gotcha.
And then if you go ls -al.
S minus AL.
You need a space.
Oh, whoops. ls minus AL.
And it shows // and // and they're the current directory and the directory above.
Okay.
But if you don't have the A, it doesn't show those.
Okay.
So you're going to become more familiar with this sort of stuff. Just go cd ...
CD ...
space ...
space.
No. cd space ...
Gotcha.
Okay, now enter. pwd.
Enter.
Enter. So it shows that we're now in C/C/users/DSC54.
Uh-huh.
And now if you do an ls-l with a space.
Oh, sorry. What? What?
That's all of the, if you compare that, if you just open up your file browser and you go to your, so if you just go to documents, that you see that down there, you can see the documents folder.
Uh-huh.
That's that folder.
Okay.
So if you do cd documents, now this is interesting. So type cd space.
Whoops. You got cranky at me. CD
space uppercase D O.
Upper. Okay, so it has to match the thing.
Yeah, and now don't just now hit top tab.
Where is my tab key? Where's it gone? There it is.
It'll
It
auto
filled
complete
in the rest.
so you don't have to type the whole thing. And now do your ls-l and now push up, arrow up.
Push arrow up.
Yep, just arrow up, and it goes back through your previous command.
Oh, Fantasy Grounds does a similar thing, but the commands are all like emotes and things.
So it's got
there it is. That where to go? Because I hit the buttons earlier.
Documents. No,
Where to go?
Documents. And so you can see it's the same thing. It's just another way of navigating around the computer.
There you go.
Now, just for the fun of it, do cd ... Okay, and now you start type. You don't have to actually go back. It'll scroll down for you. But cd ...
Or I can. Oh, whoops.
Make sure you click.
Got to click on the right window. Or I can hit this because I typed it earlier.
Yep.
Whoa.
Now, just for the fun of it, du space -h
-h, huh?
space minus max minus depth equals 1.
Equals 1.
Enter. And now it's going through all of that. It's been restricted from that one folder, but it's now calculating the size, the disk usage of all of the folders. And I've limited it to one level so it doesn't itemize everything, but it's doing all the calculations now, and it's working out how big all the directories are. So it's on a big directory at the moment.
Oh.
So anyway.
Oh.
It's locked out of your app data or whatever. I don't know why. Yeah, it depends on what user.
Who knows?
Anyway, Control C.
Control C.
Exit it. It exited it for you.
Okay.
Control C kills it.
Gotcha. Which is odd, given that Control C and Control V are such common commands for just, other stuff.
I'd say that this was first.
Probably that. What it makes me think of is when you put key bindings to two common things with the same stuff. It's like, but why did you make the copy command the same as a different thing? Anyway.
All right.
Okay.
So
do you have to type something different to exit out of this one?
actually, you can just hit the X, but if you go Control D, it'll get out of it.
Hey, there you go. There
Right.
you
So
go.
now we've got to go back in to, yeah. So now you can see that we've got that available because it's getting warm.
Mhm.
All right. So
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to skip the create GitHub account because I imagine I can work that one out on my own. And that it may involve me creating passwords for myself. So I'm going to do that not in a video.
all right.
Yeah. But we'll do this one. Install Visual Code. Okay. Well, user installer or system installer?
You want to do I'd go to user installer.
Okay. Okay. Is that similar to like earlier on when I had the thing ticked that said install for all users and you said, no, just install for, okay. Gotcha.
So if you look at the top, it says download.
Yes. But it's already downloading.
Oh, cool. Yep.
It just did a sneaky. Okay, so, and this is the program that I would actually be doing most of my code cutting in?
Yep.
Okay. So we installed Python so that we can use Python and it'll understand it.
Yep.
We installed Git. Why did we install Git?
That's where I'm sharing my code from.
Aha. Okay, great. And then this is the actual code editing software that I'm going to be using.
Yep.
And it's not that I couldn't do code stuff elsewhere. It's that
no, you can do it.
This is just kind of more user friendly.
Notepad++, you could type what we were typing and it'd work. Notepad would work. There's
right.
Any number. And on top of that, Visual Studio Code will allow you to use a huge number of languages.
Right.
So you've got an interface that's good for programming, and then you've got the back ends that allow you to do the programming.
Right. Cool.
So, all right, I'd just go with the standard default location.
So this?
Yep, that's fine.
Yep.
I'd create a desktop icon. Open with code would be good to have on those two. Means you can just right click on a folder or a file, and in that drop down it'll say open with code. So
and it'll open it specific to that thing that you clicked on?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of neat. Okay, and the other two are fine?
Yep.
Requires shell restart. So I'm going to have to restart the computer for this to finish installing. Is that what that means?
No.
So unclick it?
No.
Or that isn't what that means?
But you're not going to have to. If you had one of the command prompts or the git bash open, you would have to restart just that window.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So okay, that all looks fine.
Yep.
Cool. See, this one, just because the download of the executable was a bit bigger than the others, I thought that this would maybe install slower, but clearly that is not the case.
No, like I said, the other one, Python, was building stuff.
Mm.
You could see it saying pre-compiling, compiling.
Cool. Do I want to launch it just so we can look at it?
Yep.
Open Caraway. Ooh. Okay.
All right. So
do I want dark or do I want high contrast? What's your take?
I
want dark. I mean, it's nice. I get it, but
none of that is stuff that I'm going to have an opinion on because you're the one.
I'll have all the opinions. Bring me the aesthetic questions.
So if you click on the two, on the left-hand side up there, Yeah, so click on there. That lets you open a folder or clone a repository. And then if you click on the search, it just lets you do search replace.
Search.
This is all to do. That's to do. If you click on that, that's where it does the Git backup and retrieval, cloning and patching and whatever. That's your debugger, which I really don't use very much. And that allows you to add a whole lot of extensions.
Okay. Oh.
I'd
Such as
go
Python.
Yeah, I'd click on the Python and install that linter.
Even though it's version whatever.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay.
It's the one it's recommending.
Okay. Do I have to click on something else?
No. See, it's saying, oh, I'm pointing.
Oh, it's installing. It says
installing.
it there. Right. Hey.
So you see, it's the Python extension.
Yeah. So this just lets me use the Python that I've already installed?
No, it adds, you know how it was changing color and interpreting stuff and making recommendations and all that sort of stuff. That's this linter is doing a lot of that work.
Okay.
And
gotcha.
so you see if you go down, look down halfway down, there's Visual Studio. Now on the list of, if you go to
yeah.
Whoops. Not right. So there was the Visual Studio. If you're working in C#, you'd do that.
Right.
Jupyter notebooks are very handy when you're doing scientific work. You've got the Notepad++, which we've already got downloaded, but you could, down further, recommended. So these are
C and C++, which I've heard of.
Yeah. So there's a huge number of Python extension requires Python. We've installed Python.
So don't click
so
that.
Now clicked on selecting Python interpreter.
Oh, there we go. Select Python interpreter.
And that's the one. Just click on it.
Right.
So now if we
was that selected? Did it get selected?
Yep.
Okay.
So
now I'm extra paranoid that I clicked on the wrong thing again.
No, it's all right.
Okay. They're the same anyway, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay, great. Do we have to run and debug the Python file?
No.
So I just mark it done?
Yep.
Boop. Wait, why did it all suddenly tick? Did you see that?
I wouldn't worry too much. I think it's all right.
Okay.
But if you click back up on the files, now you're ready to. So if you go open folder,